We lost a music legend, Wayne Osmond, on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And, I mean, everybody knows at least one Osmond song.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
But we're going to go deeper today.
Right.
We're going way past One Bad Apple and Discovered at Disneyland, all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's fascinating, though, when you start peeling back the layers on somebody like Wayne Osmond.
Yeah, and he was so much more than just a vocalist.
Right.
You know, the source mentions that he played mandolin.
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 Wow.
Not something you'd usually associate with a pop group.
Really not.
Yeah.
So how did that, like, shape their sound?
Well, think about a song like Crazy Horses, for example.
Okay.
It's got this driving, almost bluegrass energy to it, and that's Wayne's mandolin.
Oh, interesting.
It's cutting through, giving it that extra layer of complexity.
I see. So it wasn't just about the vocals. It was about adding, like, texture and depth.
Exactly.
Now, the source also mentions this whole Discovered at Disneyland story, right?
Right.
It just seems almost a little too perfect, you know, like almost manufactured.
Well, there's definitely some Hollywood magic sprinkled in there, yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, even before Disneyland, the Osmonds, they were already working.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They had been performing together, honing those harmonies for years.
Wow.
Disneyland, it was just a catalyst. It wasn't sheer luck.
Right. They were ready.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder, you know, how many other talented groups are out there just waiting for their Disneyland moment.
Oh, absolutely. Tons.
Speaking of challenges, you know, the source mentions Wayne had some serious health issues, a brain tumor and a stroke.
Really tough stuff.
That had to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, the details about the brain tumor are a bit scarce. But it obviously marked a significant point in his life.
Right.
And sadly, the stroke led to hearing loss.
Oh, wow.
Which for a musician...
Devastating.
Devastating, yeah.
But what struck me, you know, reading through the source was his optimism. It's like unyielding optimism. Was that, I mean, was that a conscious choice? Was it just his personality? How did that even play into his music, especially after the stroke?
That's a really good question. And it seems like optimism, it was just genuinely a part of him.
Yeah.
You know, you hear it in his music, even after the stroke. He didn't shy away from vulnerability, but there's always this undercurrent of hope.
Okay.
In the melodies, the lyrics, the whole feel.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not just the music, right?
Right.
He was a husband, a father. He and Kathleen White were married for over 50 years.
Over 50 years, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How did that personal side, how did that shape him, his art, his whole outlook?
Well, the source is just full of tributes from family and friends, right?
Yeah.
And they all talk about his warmth, his dedication to family. That grounded him, gave him stability, especially during the tough times. And that stability, that love, it probably seeped into his music too, you know?
It's fascinating how everything's connected, you know? When you think back to your favorite Osmond song, do you hear Wayne's influence differently now?
Definitely, yeah. Knowing about his talent, his struggles, his spirit, it just makes those songs hit differently.
It adds a whole other layer.
It does, yeah.
It's clear Wayne Osmond was much more than just part of a famous band.
Absolutely.
It's a powerful story.
It is.
Thanks for taking us beyond the headlines.
My pleasure.
I think it's been really enlightening. So here's something to think about. How do you think Wayne would want to be remembered? What can we all learn from his resilience, that positivity, even when things were rough?
Good question.
As always, there's a link to the video we mentioned in the show notes.
Great.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the life of Wayne Osmond.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.